95% of people wake up and do the exact same thing. They hit snooze. They pull the covers. They open their phone immediately, the scroll, the emails, the news, the social feed, all of it before their brain has any real chance to wake up. And then they wonder why the rest of the day feels scattered, low energy, like they're just going through the motions. That's not a willpower problem. That's biology. Your brain in the morning is a fundamentally different instrument than your brain at 3 p.m. The first 45 to 90 minutes after you wake up, what scientists call the morning cortisol window, is when your brain primes itself for focus, direction, and the reward systems that will drive your behavior for the rest of the day. And most people are destroying it before the day has even started. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 4 actions backed by neuroscience and performance psychology that, if done consistently every morning, will make you a fundamentally different person by the end of this year. Not because they're magic, but because they compound everything else you do. Before we get into the 4 actions, let's understand why the morning matters this much. Dr. Andrew Huberman of Stanford describes the morning as the brain's golden window. This is when cortisol, which we talked about in the last video, peaks naturally. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter linked to motivation and reward, is also at its most sensitive. The sympathetic nervous system is coming online. Put more simply, your morning brain is like a blank page. Whatever you write on it in the first 90 minutes will imprint deeper and last longer than anything you do at any other point in the day. The question is, what do you want to write on that page? Anxiety and social media reflexes? Or clarity, purpose, and momentum? The 4 actions below are science's answer. Action 1. Don't touch your phone for the first 30 minutes after waking. I know, you've heard this before. But stay with me here, because most people don't know what's actually happening neurologically when they do the opposite. When you open your phone the moment you wake up, you immediately shift your brain into reactive mode. Every notification, every message, every news headline, these are all bandwidth requests sent to your brain. And your brain, in its most impressionable state, starts categorizing and processing them as urgent. Performance psychologist Cal Newport calls this morning information addiction a state that is neurologically indistinguishable from other compulsive behaviors. You haven't started your day. You've started responding to someone else's. By contrast, 30 phone-free minutes allow your cortisol and dopamine to rise naturally. They allow your default mode network, the part of the brain responsible for creativity, problem-solving, and strategic thinking, to come online properly. The highest-performing people, researchers have studied from CEOs to Olympic athletes, share one pattern. They protect their mornings from external demands as if it were their most valuable asset. Because it is. Action 2. Move your body for at least 10 minutes immediately after waking. And before you think I don't have time for a morning gym session, this isn't about exercise. It's about something entirely different. Neural activation. When you move your body, even just a walk, a stretch, or a few simple yoga poses, your brain begins releasing a very specific cocktail of chemicals. BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, serotonin, norepinephrine, and a small hit of dopamine. Dr. John Ratey of Harvard Medical School calls BDNF fertilizer for the brain. It stimulates the growth of new neural connections, strengthens links between brain regions, and here's the important part, significantly increases your capacity to learn and retain information in the hours that follow. In other words, 10 minutes of movement in the morning doesn't just make you feel better, It literally makes your brain work better for hours afterward. Studies from the University of Illinois show that just 20 minutes of moderate walking before a cognitive task significantly improved focus and memory recall compared to sitting still. And that effect begins after as little as 10 minutes of movement. Action 3. Every morning, write down one single goal for the day. Not a to-do list, not a plan, not things I'd like to get done. One clear, measurable, specific intention. This sounds simple enough to dismiss, but let me explain why it changes everything. Your brain has a structure called the reticular activating system, or RAS, a network of neurons in the brainstem that acts as an automatic filter. It decides which of the thousands of sensory inputs you receive every second get elevated to your conscious awareness. When you write a specific goal at the start of the morning on paper, not in your head, you are literally programming your RAS. You are telling your brain, this matters. Keep your eyes open for this all day. The result? You start noticing opportunities, resources, and solutions related to that goal in casual conversations, while reading, while driving things you would have subconsciously filtered out before. Dr. Gail Matthews at Dominican University of California proved that people who wrote down their goals achieved significantly more than those who just thought about them. The act of writing activates both hemispheres of the brain simultaneously, creating a neurological commitment, not just a mental note. Writing it down isn't ritual, it's biology. Action 4. And this one creates the biggest gap by year's end. Do your most important, most difficult, or most dreaded task before 10 a.m. Mark Twain once said, "If the first thing you do each morning is eat a live frog, you can go through the day with the satisfaction of knowing that is probably the worst thing that is going to happen to you all day." Performance experts call this eating the frog. The frog is your hardest task. But behind that colorful metaphor is a serious biological reality. Willpower is finite. Research by Dr. Roy Baumeister at Florida State University, the landmark ego depletion studies, proved that willpower functions like a muscle. It starts strong in the morning and weakens with every decision you make throughout the day. By 2 or 3 p.m., your brain has already made hundreds of micro decisions. The energy you have left to fight through difficult, important, or uncomfortable tasks has been partially spent. This is why the most well-intentioned people keep procrastinating their doing their hardest work at the end of the day when their strongest self is gone. And it's why high performers feel so disciplined. They do important work when they're most powerful. By year's end, the gap between the person who completes their important task at 8 a.m. and the one who does it at 4 p.m. or never is the gap between achieving goals and endlessly working toward them. 4 actions. No phone for 30 minutes. 10 minutes of movement. 1 clear goal written down. And the hardest task done before 10. Individually, each of these will make your day better. But combined, practiced consistently, they create what scientists call behavioral compounding. Your brain starts associating these actions with your identity, with who you're becoming. Habits become automatic. Decisions become easier. Clarity and energy accumulate. And after 365 mornings, after 365 times choosing your own brain over a screen, activating your body and mind before the outside world has a chance to demand more of you, you will be a fundamentally different person. Not because you did something extraordinary, but because you did something foundational, consistently, while 95% of people around you didn't. And ultimately, that's the only real meaning of outperforming everyone around you. Not competition, but becoming the best version of yourself, one morning at a time. If this video gave you one thing to work with, do this right now. Save it. And tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, try just one of these 4 actions. Just one. Drop a comment and tell me which one you're starting with. I read all of them. And if you want the full series on the neuroscience of habits, productivity, and sleep, subscribe. Every video is built on real science, not motivation fluff.